you did that. I seen you was on. I seen you on live there for a while last night, and then this morning actually when I watched it, and all of a sudden I seen the logo. I thought, where'd Dan go? And then it dawned on me, well, there's his logo.
Yeah, it's kind of nice this way because sometimes you end up looking low right, and I even noticed on other chats you end up looking low right because you're looking at the people or whatever the case. Even when you're talking, instead of looking at the camera, whatever. This is kind of nice.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to watch the external over here. If there's any questions or anything, I mean, I miss a lot of that stuff, but
yeah.
Especially when it starts scrolling a lot, you just can't stay up with it. Just do the best you can. But I guess we're live, so we're going to kick this thing off. We got the Genius Prepper, Crazy Scotsman, V-Board 001, and Fuzz 48 out there. Thank you guys for coming in. I'm sure Pop Quest is out there. Pops, I sent you link if you're interested. You're welcome to join. Stalker Steve just jumped in. And I guess with that, Dan, I'm going to start with TR. I'm going to introduce you guys. And then, Dan, I want you to just kind of take it and talk to us a little bit about your training you took out. Gun Sight. I wanted to say Thunder Ranch, but I knew it wasn't that one. So we'll, TR, if you got anything coming up, introduce yourself. And I'm sure everybody knows you.
Do a little bit of everything. Definitely do a lot of chats, and just glad to be here. And I'm just along for a ride, man. Thanks for the invite.
More than welcome. Rich?
Yes, Rich. I do a few chats and a little bit of other stuff. I try to be funny, but it doesn't always work. Looking forward to shooting a lot more here in the very near future. I hadn't been shooting enough, so thanks for the invite. It's always a pleasure, Don.
You're more than welcome. Glad to have you on here. All right, Dan, go ahead, and then you can talk a little bit about Gun Sight.
Well, I'm Dan from the Firearm Guy channel. I make videos about anything to do with guns, and I do quite a bit of training. At least I think I do. It's typically something that I try to do once a year minimum. And this year I was able to go out to Gun Sight Academy, and they are the largest facility in the U.S. and probably the world. It was an amazing experience with their grounds and the amount of ranges that they have and what they can offer. I shot a van at 1,700 yards. Just things like that were really cool. So it was good. It was good. I got some good training. It's Paulden, Arizona. It was hot, but it wasn't bad. And shot, had a good experience there. Everything was nice. The instructors were outstanding, very helpful, very patient with everybody, and I picked up some good tips, especially with the carbines. I shoot carbine, but I never had a training class with carbine. And so that was fun. That was new to me. I haven't done much with shotgun, always wanted to, but that wasn't as detailed, if you will, as the carbines.
Did you do all three disciplines, pistol, carbine, and shotgun, or just carbine and shotgun?
No, I did pistol too. Yep. Did
Ed Head, was he one of the instructors? I heard he retired, but
no, he was there. He pretty much was a pistol instructor.
Right.
So they have a shoot house there. And of course they have all those ranges with all those targets. And he gave me some really good advice. He said, before you pull the trigger, there's just a slight little movement, and that's a mental issue. He said, don't move at all. Just, you know, pull the trigger as if you were doing anything else. Don't think about it. He said a lot of people, they go to pull the trigger and then they, you know, mentally think, oh boy, I'm going to pull the trigger. I never thought twice of it. I've always felt very comfortable shooting handgun, target shooting, and everything else. But he made a good point, and so I started really concentrating on what he said, and just line up the sights and pull the trigger. And I was hitting my targets better than I normally do, so I really appreciated that.
That's pretty awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, I just went out and I had made a video earlier today, just like a VR for Right to Bear Customs. But I just went out and had thrown out a mag at the steel, and it's like, it seems like when I don't think at all and don't even really aim, like, I mean, I'm looking, but it just does a lot better when I'm trying to go fast. But then, I don't know, I say that now, and then the next time I'll go out and try that and won't be able to hit anything, you know? So I don't know. It's I stay confused about it.
Well, the thing is that we actually move, and we move the gun more than we think. And when you miss, you know, you have your sights lined up and you miss, that's on the shooter, because somewhere you moved, somewhere you jerked the gun, or you jerked the trigger, or you panicked at that last second. We don't think we do as we're doing it. We don't necessarily think we do. We feel completely comfortable, but in that whole process, that quarter-inch process of pulling the trigger, we tend to jerk it. And I've been concentrating on that the last couple times at the range, just relaxing and squeeze that trigger just enough to break, and it seems to be doing pretty well. I don't know if I'm any better or worse, but I am enjoying the mental part of handgun shooting.
Well, I noticed Pop's Quest, he just made a comment out there. It's called pushing the gun, and I've noticed a lot, especially if I'm shooting and I've got the camera at the right angle. I've got this little thing right before I squeeze the trigger where it's not a flinch, you know, of course, but there's movement there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to work on that myself.
Yeah, I think especially when we make videos, you know, we can slow down the video and really study if we decide to do that. But most people don't. They just they go there, they fire the gun, absolutely no stress whatsoever. And I think you guys may agree with this, but even with that video camera on, that could add a little stress. I mean, just knowing that, you know, I'm being watched here. Not that it should matter, but there's this mental awareness of what's going on around you. That's like, you know, trying to hit a golf club with 10 people behind watching your form. You know, it's different than if you're out there by yourself. So that little bit of mental pressure makes a difference. And it is pretty incredible how often that gun moves just a little bit in the process of pulling that trigger.
Yeah, I totally get the video camera thing, because in my mind, there's 100 people watching me when that camera's on.
Yeah.
You know, so
true.
It does something that it's probably always there in the back of my mind. I know my brain pretty much goes to mush. Pretty much every video, I don't script anything or anything like that, and so I end up having to go back a lot of times and edit to where it even makes any sense. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's true, Rich. I mean, something about turning that camera on, or you charge the gun, and if you had 5 people watching you, it should make a difference. It should make no difference whatsoever. But that miniature amount of additional pressure, you know, can, as you pull the trigger, can alter the angle of the gun, you know.
TR, you got anything to input you want to throw in here?
Well, I'll just add that as a YouTuber, somebody that makes videos, when you turn that camera on, it is way different than just getting out there and pulling the trigger. I would say it goes beyond having an audience around you. To me, the camera puts more pressure on, and I know it's all in my head, but it's more pressure doing any video than it is talking to a group of guys. I've always felt more pressure. I mean, I think I do a pretty good job of playing it off and try to just roll with it or whatever. I know people are watching, not live, but later on. But the camera adds a different element than just some guys watching. To me, maybe I look at it different. Well, and when I say that is because you get critiqued to the nth degree. Every gun Nazi, every troll possibly comes out and tells you what a gooberhead you are for this video. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. You did that wrong. And it's like every time you turn the camera on, you take that risk. So it adds a little bit to it. I don't really worry about it. I don't really think about it. But at the same time, that elephant's in the room every time you hit that go button on the camera.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Like I do, like the work that I do, often a good part of my work I do in groups. Like there can be groups of 20 up to maybe 20, 25 people. And I do that all the time. It's just natural. But like, kind of like TR said, there's nobody that's going to critique me while I'm doing that. You know, it's like I get my stuff out and let it go, you know, and I don't have to have that concern where we do on videos. Like, yeah, there's going to be people watching this and commenting on it and all that. And I like what Pop said out there. He said he edits to make himself look like Superman. I thank God for editing, and I don't look like Superman ever, but that's probably the attempt, you know, at times.
Most pressure I've ever been under was the night at bowling. I mean, we got 48 lanes. I run the first 11 in a row. I'm going for my 300 game. I mean, everybody quit bowling. Everybody's behind me. You talk about knees shaking. I threw probably one of the best balls I ever threw, buried it right in the hole, left a 610. Dad, gummit. Shot 298, but man, my knees were shaking. I'm like this trying to hold a bowling ball. I even looked at my buddy. I said, "You want to throw this sucker for me?"
You hit a 298, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Run the first 11. I think I shot 7-something, but 756 is my highest series. I was a better bowler than I am a shooter or golfer. I'll tell you that, but I'd rather golf or shoot.
Yeah, 298, that's about my golf score.
I ain't worth crap at golf, but man, I ain't got to play for 2 years now. Last year was my wrist, this year's my foot, so I don't even know where my clubs are at. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on you. You know, like in an IDPA match, I got 4 or 5 other guys who's ever's in my squad. I don't feel any pressure doing that, but like I said, turn that camera on, especially when you're watching it after you get it home and you want to edit or whatever. You see these little flaws and you're thinking, holy crap, that don't look good.
Yeah, it's true. And it's real. You know, and so actually, you know, having that camera on helps, you know, pressure is always good. You know, it doesn't matter. Pressure is always good because in a defensive situation, we're going to have to perform under a lot more pressure than a video camera. So, you know, just getting used to that, getting used to unique situations, you know, is always good. That's why that training that I did last year with Steve from Michigan Arms, that what was it called? Reflective training, where it's actually a mirror. You know, you're looking at a live person, but it's a mirror, and that additional pressure, somebody talking back to you, somebody who might draw on you, you know, where it's different than going to an indoor gun range and just shooting paper.
Oh yeah, anything's better than just shooting paper.
Yeah.
I got a topic y'all might be interested in addressing. I don't know. I'll throw it out there anyway. But oftentimes you hear like people when they're talking about pro-gun statistics, and they'll throw out there, you know, that guns save a tremendous amount of lives, and I believe that they do. But one point they make is they'll say, well, oftentimes just bringing the gun out into the picture makes it all go away. And I don't know about you all, but I was always taught very firmly since I was a kid, ever with guns, to never bring the gun into the picture unless I planned on destroying something at that point. But what do you all think of that?
Well,
I'll tell you. Go ahead, TR.
Well, brandishing a gun doesn't. I think a little bit of the intent of what you were taught is true, but brandishing a gun, a firearm, when you pull it out and you point it at someone, you've already decided to pull the trigger. But there's still a split second or a second that you have to determine whether you do or not. Because that brandishing the gun, if it gets that bad, you brandish the gun, you point it at somebody, you give them a split second to make a choice. And in that split second, it depends on the situation. Before anybody just comes down on me or whatever, you do, in some situations, you can pull that gun, give them a choice to either stop, drop, whatever they're doing. In some situations, you don't even have that choice. You pull the gun, you pull the trigger. But there's some situations you pull the gun and you have a second, maybe 1 second, to make a choice whether to pull the trigger. And so, yeah, I agree with that. I agree you can brandish a firearm without firing it. But when you pull that gun, you have every intent of pulling the trigger. The next step is theirs. If that makes any sense.
And do you remember the instructor we had for the outside the home pistol course that where he was talking about he was walking down the street. I forget what city he was in. And this guy was coming at him, and he crossed the street, and the guy crossed the street, and it was just basically following it. He didn't know what was going on. All he did was sort of angle off and just like went to his hip, and that broke it off. You know, the guy, I guess whether it was anything to do with it, but he felt like he was being stalked or something. You remember that?
Yeah. Well, at that point, another thing he did was he screamed at the top of his lungs. And, you know, stop, get out of here. But that's a good point. With hand on gun is a message that you are prepared to use the gun. At that point, though, that guy, he felt like there was a threat, but there was no evidence that it was an actual threat. It may have been if the guy was approaching him, you know, rather aggressively, but there was no threat. So to pull the gun in that situation, no weapon presented, yeah, you know, angling off, getting ready is always a good idea. Using your voice nice and loud, always a good idea. Drawing attention, you know, a good friend of mine was pumping gas, and he's a revolver guy. He had a big old Smith revolver, and guy came up to him and asked him for money. Guy probably twice his size, and he said no. And the guy said, "I don't think you heard me. I said I'm going to need some money." And he lifted up his sweatshirt and said, "Do we have a problem here?" With his hand on the grip. The guy took one look at that and skedaddled out of there. Never drew the gun, you know. And in that case, that could have been a situation where things got a whole lot better because of a firearm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense in that instance, and I agree, TR. You still have that time, you know, that last split second probably to make that call if you're truly going to pull the trigger. But like what you said, TR, about you've already got the intention, you're ready to do it when you bring it out. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, once you actually pull it out, I would hope that, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, if you're in fear of your life to the point where you actually pull it out, you've already made up your mind that you're going to shoot somebody. You're not trying to kill somebody. You're trying to stop somebody. And depending on the situation, I mean, if they already got a gun trained on you, there is no hesitation. You just do it. But if they're just coming at you with a knife, a bat, physical force, I'm a small guy, a 300-pound guy coming at me, wanting to do harm to me, you know, my only choice is a firearm, you know, in my opinion. But if I actually pull it out, man, I will shoot. You know, I've already made up my mind. I will pull the trigger, but I will give it unless, you know, they already got a gun and like shooting at me or whatever. I'll give them that split second, that half a second, that 1 second to make up their mind where this is going to I mean, it's already escalated to this, but that's about it. I'll give them a second.
And while you're doing that, maybe that's when like the yelling, you know,
Yeah.
stop and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I become from within a second or two, I'll become from a potential victim to defending myself, and they have to make the assessment on how serious I am about it. But they may, within that second or two, I'll let them process that to let them know you may have bit off more than you can chew. But I'll give them a second or two if they're just, if it's something within, if they're far enough away, you know, they're 5, 6, 10, 20 foot away coming at me, I may give them that second to reassess what they're doing and stop. If they're already on me with a knife, a bat, I mean, if they're already like the blow's already coming, yeah, I'm hip shooting, you know, whatever. I mean, every situation is different, but I was just saying that when I pull it, I'm already willing to pull the trigger. That decision has already been made. If I ever pull my gun out of the holster, the decision's been made. I will pull the trigger. It's just that I don't have to. It's just I feel like I'm fumbling over my words. I will pull the trigger, but I will give a last second chance for them to change their mind, because I don't want to kill anybody. But if I have to, I will shoot somebody without hesitation.
And that makes sense. And really that does even still fit into kind of how I was taught. You've made that decision that you're ready to destroy something. That doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you change your mind at the last second if the situation looks different after the gun appears, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if that person turns around and walks or runs away, then that's a successful use of a firearm. Like TR said, though, if they're in the act of violence towards you or a loved one, then you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Plus, if they turn around and go the other way, then you've murdered somebody, right? So.
A little bit off
I think
topic.
one of you mentioned just reaching behind and putting your hand on your gun. I've actually had that happen. Walmart parking lot, 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's back when I was working night shift. So when I went to the grocery store, which was a Walmart, it was open 24 hours. I actually had that happen. A guy cornered me in the parking lot. I mean, he was still in his truck, and he wouldn't let me go by. He kept cutting me off, wanting money. And finally, I just reached around and I was like, look, dude. And, with this hand, I was doing this. I was like, look, I'm done. You just need to go away. I forget exactly what I said, but I was like, no, I'm not interested. He was trying to sell me some tools or some crap for $5 or whatever it was. And as soon as my hand went behind me, I was holding my hand up like this. He was still in his truck. I was like, look, dude, you need to go away. He took off. Boom. I mean, I didn't want to shoot the guy. I didn't really feel that threatened, but at the same time, he was trying to corner me. And it was like, okay, this is enough. After a minute of me trying to get away from him, it probably wasn't even that long, but it was too long for me. I was just like, you need to go away. And as soon as all I had to do was just reach around like that. Boom, he was gone. I never pulled my gun out.
Yeah.
I didn't really fear for my life, but I knew if I continued to let it escalate, I didn't know where it was going to go. That was enough for me.
Yeah, if they violate your space, you have to do something.
Well, that guy could have been high. He could have been methed up. He could have been, on who knows what. And he was untrusted. So that's an alert. That's increased alertness right there, saying, what? This has gone on long enough. Get out of here.
Well, that particular situation, he needed $5. He needed gas money. He's in a Ford F-150 V8. I know what it is. I can hear it running. And this is a minute-long conversation of me trying to get away from him. I'm like, hey, you already spent $5 worth of gasoline trying to corner me to get more money out of me, or get money out of me, not any, but any money out of me. I'm like, BS, 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 crackhead alert. Go away. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in the $5, if you would have given him $5, that wouldn't have been enough. There would have been more to it than that. So that was just the initial draw to get. I think those people, the more they can talk to you and the more you will listen, the more likely that they feel that their situation is increasing. And so I think the lesson learned here is don't even talk to them. Matter of fact, I learned that at that reflective training class I was just talking about. If somebody engages in conversation and they're trying to draw you into something, anything, money, gas, help me, blah, 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 don't even talk to them. You can say, you know what? The answer is no. You need to, leave me alone. And if they step towards you or whatever, angling yourself off, getting ready is a good idea. And don't wave. You never want to wave your gun hand around, which is what I did in that training class. You never want to do that. You want to keep your gun hand by your gun. And then if you have to angle yourself off and grip that gun, then they're going to have a hard time getting the draw on you.
Yeah, and your awareness has a lot to do with that. Like body language can throw people off, you know, from even approaching you. Your body language and just how you're, you know, you're positioning yourself, because you see that they will approach people that look easier to approach, or weaker looking targets. And I'm not saying puff your chest out and whatnot and all that, but there's just different ways you can carry yourself in the way that you know, appear that will stop most of them from even approaching you. I've noticed that from living around, you know, certain areas and stuff. But that's a good point. And we can tell, I think it's ingrained in our DNA as far as like to survive as a species. I think we can you can feel and kind of tell by the way people approach you and kind of judge the threat level kind of by their body language and their movements and whatnot as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Daniel got as my judge. He just made a interesting thing. Carry 2 wallets, drop a fake one, and kick them in the face. At the last IDPA shoot, they have a live house. They run a scenario in a live house. Sometimes it's live ammunition, sometimes it's with blue guns or whatever. And this was all our real guns we all had blue guns, and they had rubber knives. But one of the scenarios, I'm facing the ATM machine. The guy from behind me, hey, I want your wallet. Well, I kind of looked back. I seen he had a knife. So I reached in my pocket, my left hand, and I dropped the wallet. Well, then he made a move toward me, which I kind of, being my big old foot, you know, and in his cast the best I could, I swirled around, you know, drew the gun. But he took training at gun sight. And, I mean, he took training all over the place. And his kid's real smart. He said, the thing you want to do, don't drop the wallet down by you. Flip it back at him. That way he's got to take his eyes off of it long enough to see where the wallet goes. It gives you a little bit more time rather than just drop it on the ground. So
that's good advice.
He said, actually flip it right back at him. That way, you know, off to his side where he's got to turn around to look where it goes if he really wants that wallet.
Then shoot him.
Yeah.
Well, if he's got a knife, you know.
Well, if he's got a knife and he's over there, at least you can square up and have your gun, like you was talking, have it drawn. Then it's up to him whether he wants to proceed with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That and get a mohawk. I'm telling you, a mohawk works.
I can't grow a mohawk.
Well,
go with the reverse mohawk.
A couple of days ago, being Sonia just happened, a girl I'm seeing, for anybody don't know, she just happened to be in the area, and we like met up, and we met at a Walmart, and she's like, "Oh, I'm at the Walmart. Come and meet me." And I was okay. So I come over there, and I'm looking. So I got like I got a mission. You know, I'm trying to find her car. I'm looking through the parking lot. Just got a fresh haircut, and when I got to the car, she was like, "You look like the damn Terminator." I believe everybody was scared to hell of what the hell you was doing out there. You scared me. And I was like, well, I had a mission. I was trying to find your damn car.
Let me go out to the chat room here and make a few shout outs here before some of these guys leave. Hopefully they don't. But we already mentioned Genius Prepper, Crazy Scotsman, V-Borg 01, Buzz Fork 8, Stalker Steve. We got Keith Gregory, WTF SoCal, Zeus, who he had to go to work, so he's already left us. Hunts for Food, Pop's Quest, Big Johnson's Guns and Gear, Indiana Patriot, Sandy's Passion, Robin Jones, Bad Billy 429, Blue 823, glad to see you, Blue, J. Greg Campbell, Daniel God is my judge, and 1776 or bust.
How do you know all the, like, do you have a different screen where you see everybody, or are you trying to follow the chat?
I follow the side chat and I write them down.
Oh.
Otherwise, my memory ain't that good. So that's why you see me down here at the right like you was talking, looking down to the right, I'm writing these names down as I come up, so I got an idea.
Oh, okay.
6'8" guy, Doug just jumped in. So I got a question for
Hey,
you.
Doug.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to see if Doug was going to go to that Ohio rally. I know it's a long drive from where he lives to Columbus. But yeah, they're gathering in Ohio as well.
Yeah, we're going to get into that subject here in just a couple minutes. Me and a guy was out the range the other day talking. And I mean, have you ever thought about it? You're by yourself. You go to a rest area, go to Walmart, 2 o'clock in the morning, like TR said, or whatever. You got to go to the bathroom. Do you use a stall or do you go to the urinal? It's a serious question, you know, to stop and think about.
Yeah.
I'm a urinal guy. Just throwing it out there.
I am too, but I can see where this question's going because your back is to everybody coming and going out of that place. And I am well aware of that situation. And not that anything's ever happened, but it's on my mind every single time that somebody could be, they could just knock you out before you even know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a valid question. I used a yesterday, matter of fact, I was on the interstate, stopped at a rest stop, and kind of feel a little more vulnerable at a rest stop than I do a normal restaurant or something like that, because it's more public. You don't know what the hell's going on. You go into a restaurant, for the most part, you're probably okay. But the rest stop I went into had the ceramic tiles or whatever they are. And it wasn't a mirror image, but you could see enough reflection to watch people coming in and out the door. And I caught, not that I caught myself, but I realized I was doing it. And it was like, yeah, that's a good thing to do. But anyway, I could see in the tiles anybody that came and left. It was almost like a shadow reflection, but I could still see it. And I was still aware of what was going on behind me, even though I was at a urinal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you still got to be aware of your surroundings. And I don't care if it's a movie theater or what it is. There's nothing wrong with that quick little turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just the opposite. I tend to go to the stall.
I feel better at the urinal than I do a stall, because in the stall, then you're cornered. You know, if somebody busts in on you, not only do they have the advantage of you, because those little locks on a stall are nothing. I mean, if somebody's up to really no good, I feel better at a urinal in the open a little bit than I do a stall where I'm cornered like a rat.
Well, that's the nice thing about being big, TR. I take up. They can't get that door past me. They push that door open, they're still gonna be blocked. But it's just a question. We were throwing it out there the other day and talking about it, and I just thought, it's a good little subject to bring up. At a chat and get everybody's opinion on it.
Sure.
I do both. I tend to go to the stall more, but I use a urinal too. It depends. Now, the rest area, I definitely go to the stall. Especially here in Michigan, we got some weirdos that go to these rest areas.
I seen where Pops replied out there in the comments. He said he just pisses in the street, and kind of reminds me of the story of like when I was a kid, and I would get drunk and beat the crap out of my stepfather, and then take a cab to the other side of town, and I would piss all over the back seat of the cab. But just throwing that out there, just a joke. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Rich. Good grief.
Yeah. It's just like I heard a story one time. A guy was he walked by and he happened to notice somebody in the stall, and he went into the next stall and doing his job. heard a voice come. How you doing? Well, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? He didn't hear anything. And next thing he knew, he said, what time is it? Well, the guy says, well, I don't know. You know, I left home this morning, forgot my watch. The guy says, you'll have to wait on a minute. Everything I ask, this guy in the next stall keeps answering me. You get it?
No, I don't get it, but there's nothing like it.
He was on the phone talking to somebody else asking these questions.
Oh.
The guy in the stall thought he was talking to him.
Oh, I
So
see.
he was answering all the questions for the guy. Finally, he says, you'll have to hold on a minute. This guy next to him, he keeps answering all my questions.
Mm.
Okay, it's 9:43. This is where we're going to turn it over to Dan. I don't know if some of you have heard Matt from Never Enough Ammo is getting together a 2A rally 2017 for November 5th at, well, 10 o'clock a.m. Want you to, he mentioned he had some folks on last night, Dan was on there. Dan is our Michigan representative, I guess. He decided he would take the reins on it and try to get it developed. So, Dan, we're going to let you go and let you just talk about it.
All righty. Well, if anybody's been watching, it is clear that our gun rights are up for debate, which means they're under attack. And I don't think I'm the only one on this panel or anywhere else who feel that it's not up for debate. And there are actually a lot of gun bills on the table right now. Now, the likelihood of those going through, typically I'd say would be slim. However, some of those are proposed by Republicans, and that is not a good sign. So we're going to have a rally, and it's time for a rally. I like the idea. The amount of time we have to get this together is not long at all, actually. It's like not this upcoming weekend, but the following Sunday after that. So a lot of pressure going on to get the word out. And I don't know, and I don't know that anybody knows the best way to do that. So what I did was I made up a flyer, and it wasn't easy. I had to learn how to do that, to get the background and everything else, and made a video. I secured the grounds at the state capitol. And kind of funny, when I did that, I contacted the lady, told her, the event coordinator, what the plan was, what we wanted to do. And she said, what group are you with? I said, 2A. She said, what's that? I said, Second Amendment. She said, oh boy. She goes, we better call the state police. Now, immediately I was like, well, you don't need state police. We clean up. We're going to do. She said, no, there are opposing groups may show up. And I said, well, my group will not take kindly to that. And she said, yeah, I know. So secured the steps. And the main thing was getting people on the ground to pass out flyers and to make contacts. And so a Facebook page has been set up, and each state is represented on that page. Now I'm the admin for the Michigan page, and I'm putting updates on all the time. And each day, more and more people have gotten on there and responded, what can I do? I plan to go. And I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's what we need. So I've been emailing flyers, and people are making copies and getting those out there. And we'll see. We'll see. I really want Michigan to be successful. We have all the, shall I say, the right mindset to have a successful rally. Not sure if it'll be as large as 2013, or it could be more. It's a tough situation. Not a lot of time with this, So I've been doing everything in my power to get a hold of people, do everything on my end. I'm hoping that the video I made gets shared so that, I mean, that's something. And we'll see what else. I was talking to John Live for Wild, and I invited him to be a speaker, which I'll extend that invitation to you too, Don. We'd like to get about 5 scheduled speakers and then open it up to an open mic situation. So at least for those 5 speakers would be scheduled and plans. That is that those people would actually prepare a speech and not just get up there and ramble on and on and on. And that's about it. I'm still waiting to hear from MichiganGunOwners.org and Michigan Open Carry. Both of them responded to me. I've been in touch with both groups, and they are going to take it to their board meeting and see if they want to attend or be a part of it. And I hope they do. I really do. I hope they do. So that's where we're at. We got people on the ground doing some work. I was calling state reps today to invite them out. Sunday morning's a tough time to do that. And they said they would love to, but the timing. And so I'm going to keep trying. But I did ask them if they can't make it to prepare a statement, something that we could read, and they seemed interested in that. And one of the people was who he is going to be running for governor. He hasn't officially announced it yet, but he'll be running for governor. And that would be I'd love to get him out there talking.
You know,
that's all I got on that. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am definitely excited about it.
TR, just to give you a little bit of one of the guys that heading up the South Carolina rally, the state, they wouldn't give them a permit to have it at the Capitol there in South Carolina. So they're trying to work out an area where they can have it. That kind of surprised me.
Yeah,
Yeah, South Carolina's like pretty pro-gun, but it's not severely pro-gun. There's still enough corruption and good old boy politics going on in South Carolina. It's not the worst state to live in. It's not the best state to live in, but it's a good state to live in. I mean, we do have Lindsey Graham as a senator. I mean, what more can I say? And I'll just leave it at that.
Has he been bad though? I mean, I know I don't agree with everything he does and says, but has he been bad?
He's horrible. I hate him. I hate him. I would rather have a Democrat than Lindsey Graham. At least they'd be consistent.
Oh, don't say that. Please don't say that.
Well, he sides with Democrats more than he does Republicans.
Yeah, maybe time to get him out.
Well, we tried.
Can't have that.
We have tried. Trey Gowdy is a South Carolina representative. I love him.
Yeah, he's rock solid.
We got good and we got bad, you know. I like
Trey Gowdy's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's perfect, but Gowdy's pretty good. So at times he has his moments where he just drills people.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets them in that setting where he gets to drill them, he is ruthless. I love him.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love watching that too.
Yeah, Graham and McCain are buddies.
Yeah,
I ain't got much use for either one of them. But
well, you know, I'm disappointed in McCain, but you know, he's not going to be around much longer. and kind of a sad situation.
I'm just wondering how long it takes for it to come out that McCain helped funded that dossier for Trump in the initial beginning. They said it was somebody, a Republican, that had initially started it. I'm willing to bet that was McCain.
I hadn't heard that.
I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, supposedly a Republican initially funded it, and then the Hillary and the DNC picked up on it as well with the funding.
A lot of crap's coming out on the DNC on this Russian uranium bull crap.
I love it. I love all the. I hope it's honest press, but for those loudmouths and everything they said and all the finger pointing they did toward Trump, I love it that the fingers pointed at them, and they don't have the media in their pocket on this one.
Rich 1776er Bus said it was Jeb. I don't know if he's just
that
throwing
makes
that
sense
name out
too.
there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it either. Yeah, it probably was Jeb, because
I'd be more inclined to think it was Jeb than McCain, really.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind this. Part of the left playbook is to twist it around to make it seem like it's not them. So that could be a big hoax right there. I mean, unless you're pretty sure it's true, Rich.
Well, I mean, it's been reported by several different media outlets, so
yeah. Well, a lot of times one it has a snowball effect, and for example, the Washington Post says everybody's always quoting the Washington Post. Well, it was reported in the Washington Post. Well, the Washington Post is the same hack writers that said that my 22 is a high-powered rifle. And when told that was false, he wouldn't change it. He described my 22 in a bullpup kit, suppressed, as a high-powered rifle, and he did that to fit his story during this whole Hearing Protection Act discussion. So that's how much I trust the Washington Post. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Rich. Once again, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, No,
I mean, it's a good point. There's stuff that is absolutely wrong, and just like that situation, they do not retract it. And if they do, it's stuffed back on the last page in very small print underneath something,
right.
where they'll do it.
Yeah.
Dan, just stop it. You had a ghost gun that shoots 30-millimeter bullets at 1,000 rounds a second. Just go ahead and admit it, because that's the liberals all know we have 30-millimeter magazines that shoot 1,000 rounds a second.
Yeah. And a 30 magazine clip.
When somebody finds one of them, let me know, because I'd like to get one.
Clipazines.
Yeah. 30 magazine clip is what that clown said. That guy's on the hot seat for something. That Kevin DeLaron or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I can't remember what it was, but I think there was something a little while back on him that had come up.
Yeah, that wouldn't break my heart to see something go on with him. That guy's a jerk.
Yeah, most of them are. Both parties.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, it's getting close to the 10 o'clock hour. I'm going to let you guys do some outros. I want to go out to the chat room. We had Loads of Bacon, Timothy Robbins, Scab Ugly Channel, and Ronnie Brown that joined us. This is my last one. If I missed anybody, I apologize. And I'll let you guys do some outros, and we'll start with TR.
Well, thanks for having me on, Don. I always appreciate it. Enjoy the chat. Enjoy the audience out there. We had a pretty good crowd tonight, and
Real good.
just thanks for having me on. I like being here and giving my goofy opinion on things, and hope to be here again later.
You will be. Rich?
Yeah, I don't have a lot going on. I did get a call from my local gun store from somebody, and they were saying something about some kind of defensive pistol event or something. So hopefully I'll be getting into that, and I'm pretty sure I'll be using this CZP07 for that, because I'm just really have pretty much fallen in love with this gun, and it's got the scary light on it too. Plus, it holds 350 rounds. So there's that. And thanks for the invite, and always a fun time.
Dan?
Anybody from Michigan, consider going to that rally. We are intending on having an outstanding rally. And if you're wondering what you can do, go ahead and email me at TheFireArmGuy@gmail. I'll send you a flyer. And if you could distribute that and do whatever you can to get the word out. Those who are not from Michigan, consider going to your state's rally if it's happening. Most are. And support your 2A rights, and also the people that are putting those on. I'm seeing it from a different side now, and it's a little pressure filled, and so it's exciting, and I think good turnouts send a very strong message to people who think they have the ability to restrict our rights. So once again, I'd like these guys, I'd like to thank you, Don, for having me on, and it was a good chat.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. And I'll get back with you in a couple of days once I find out about next Sunday.
Okay.
I want to do a little quick shout out. Wolverine Prepper, here at Michigan Boy here, sent me a couple of his stickers. I put a link to his channel. Just go down there and check him out. And stop by there and tell him I said, heard it on here. I'd appreciate it. I know he would. As far as guns, Rich, this is probably the last cig I ever buy. Not happy with it. We'll get into that next chat. With that, we're going to get out of here. And I want to thank everybody out in the external. Appreciate it. And you guys have a good one. Take care. We're out of here.